Welcome back to the Living Soil Lab, where we're always digging deeper into the hidden mechanics that make truly exceptional gardens thrive. If you've been relying on marigolds as your primary companion planting strategy, you're barely scratching the surface of what's possible. Today, we're exploring a game-changing approach that goes far beyond simple pest deterrence. We're talking about plants that actively bio-fortify your soil, transforming it into a self-sustaining ecosystem that builds fertility season after season. These unconventional botanical allies work underground, mining deep minerals, fixing atmospheric nitrogen, and cultivating thriving microbial communities that make nutrients available to your crops in ways synthetic fertilizers never could. This is about shifting from constantly feeding your plants to creating a living system that feeds itself. Let's address the elephant in the garden. Marigolds are fine. They release compounds that can deter certain nematodes, their bright flowers attract beneficial insects, and they've earned their place in garden folklore for good reason. But here's the truth that advanced growers understand. Marigolds are performing one relatively simple function, and they're doing nothing to actually improve your soil's fertility or structure. When your marigold plants die back at the end of the season, they're not leaving behind a significantly enriched soil profile. They haven't mined deep minerals from the subsoil, they haven't fixed atmospheric nitrogen into plant-available forms, and they haven't fundamentally altered the microbial community in your rhizosphere. So, this is the difference between basic companion planting and active biofortification. One strategy manages problems, while the other builds solutions right into the very foundation of your garden. The concept of biofortification, honestly, represents a fundamental shift in how we think about soil fertility. Instead of viewing soil as just an inert growing medium that we have to constantly amend with external inputs, we're starting to recognize it as a living ecosystem, capable of generating its own fertility when we provide the right biological tools. The plants we're about to explore don't just grow alongside your vegetables, they actively transform the soil chemistry, physical structure, and microbial populations in ways that compound year after year. This creates increasingly fertile conditions, with less intervention required from you as time goes on. Comfrey is perhaps the most remarkable soil biofortifier that most gardeners have never planted, and, understanding why really reveals the power of strategic companion planting. This perennial herb sends a massive taproot down 6 to 10 feet into the subsoil, which is, honestly, far deeper than any annual vegetable could ever reach. As that root penetrates those deep soil layers, it's actively mining calcium, potassium, phosphorus, and trace minerals that have leached down beyond the reach of your tomatoes and peppers. When comfrey leaves are cut and allowed to decompose in place, or when the plant naturally sheds older foliage, those deep mine nutrients are deposited on the soil surface where your shallow-rooted crops can, easily access them. Even better, comfrey leaves break down rapidly, releasing nutrients quickly while also feeding soil microorganisms that further enhance nutrient cycling. Plant comfrey at the edges of your garden beds or in strategic spots between rows, cut it back 3 to 4 times per growing season, and watch as it transforms your topsoil into a mineral-rich paradise. Daikon radish represents another unconventional ally that works through an entirely different mechanism: physical soil transformation. These massive radishes, often called tillage radishes, can grow roots 18 inches deep or more, creating natural channels through compacted soil layers that improve water infiltration and air exchange for years after the radish itself has decomposed. When daikon radishes are allowed to winterkill and break down in place, they leave behind organic matter-rich channels that earthworms and other soil organisms colonize, creating permanent improvements to soil structure. The dying radish also releases nutrients captured during its vigorous growth, providing a slow-release fertilizer effect for the following season's crops. This is bio-drilling at its finest, accomplishing what a broadfork does mechanically, but with the added benefits of organic matter incorporation and nutrient cycling. White clover might seem like a lawn weed to conventional gardeners, but in a living soil system, it's a nitrogen-generating powerhouse that can dramatically reduce or eliminate your need for nitrogen fertilizers. As a legume, white clover hosts rhizobium bacteria in specialized root nodules, and these bacteria have the remarkable ability to convert atmospheric nitrogen gas into ammonia that plants can use. A vigorous clover planting can fix between 40 and 100 pounds of nitrogen per acre per year, and here's the crucial part: when clover roots die back naturally or when you mow the clover, that fixed nitrogen is released directly into the soil where your vegetables can access it. Use white clover as a living mulch between rows. Allow it to establish in pathways or undersow it with taller crops like tomatoes and corn. The clover stays low, suppresses weeds, fixes nitrogen continuously, and creates a perpetual fertility engine working 24 hours a day. As we face increasingly unpredictable weather patterns, water scarcity, and the need to reduce our environmental footprint, bio-fortification through unconventional companion plants becomes not just smart gardening but essential food security strategy. If you're ready to move beyond basic companion planting and unlock the full potential of bio-fortification in your garden, subscribe to the Living Soil Lab for more deep dives into the science and practice of regenerative growing. Share this guide with fellow gardeners who are ready to build soil fertility from the ground up, and join our community of growers proving that the most productive gardens are those that work with nature's own fertility-generating systems. Together we're cultivating not just better harvests, but genuinely sustainable food systems built on living soil.